And good evening. Thank you for spending your time with us this evening. Quick campaign update. We are having a campaign flyer literature drop event at Wissemann Park Sunday. It's Oki Park at 2715 Wissemann Drive. I've got the actual proper definitions in the description. The proper address is in the description. We're teaming up with my friend Scott Schmidt again to cover more area. And so recent events have me considering or thinking that it's time to have the discussion about how we got here, why I'm running, and what I've learned. Because we always try to be open here about what we're doing. And so what I've learned in the process is part of that openness. And so we'll start with how I got here. Unlike most politicians, I did not ask for this task. I was asked. Much like many of the political type things I do, I don't do because I want to do them. And I don't like the air quotes thing, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's because people have asked and I want to help. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm vice chair of the Sacramento County Libertarian Party of Sacramento County. We might as well get it right. And that's why I'm here running for state assembly, because gig workers asked me to run. It wasn't the political operatives that I said yes to. It was fellow gig workers. And so that's how I ended up here. But how did it end up on my desk is actually the bigger question. How did this type of task end up on my desk? How are politics so broken that this task ended up on my desk? That's a long history of failed promises, of backdoor deal making, decisions that are based more upon desire for party power than for what's good for the people. The politicians have forgotten that they're supposed to represent everybody, not just their own perspective, not just their own viewpoint, not just their own political ideology. I've been very careful during this process to keep separate from the political systems. I don't talk very much to activists or groups or activist groups or associations. It's not that I avoid them. If they come to me and ask me to talk to them, I will talk to them. I will talk to anybody, but I don't go seeking. I seek to talk to people, individuals, because the activists and the interest groups and the lobbyists and the politicians and the businesses, they all have people to talk for them. They all already organized. You know, the average person, the average gig worker especially, this notion that you have to organize to be heard is a foreign concept for us. And what I found out is that it's a foreign concept for the people who run the state as well, and the people who report on the state. This notion that, you know, people want to be by themselves, want to have these decisions for themselves is a foreign concept. They can't wrap their head around it. And so that's the battle we're actually fighting. You know, we all think we're fighting over policy, and we're not. We're fighting over perspective and philosophy. Many of us are fighting the wrong battles. The battles we try to fight are over, they're not minor policy issues, but unless you change the mindset, you're just going to end up with the same type of results. Every time we see a problem, we hit it with a sledgehammer. Is environmental a problem? Yes. Should we figure out ways to live cleaner? Yes. Doesn't mean you hit it with a sledgehammer. Doesn't mean you have a governor sign an executive order dictating how the life is going to be for the next 15 years or 20 years. We have political processes for that. And it's that instinct for so many of our political representatives to go around that political process is why we have a lack of trust. The unwillingness to engage in the process and go through the difficult work of making it work is the problem. How are you supposed to get buy-in when you just sign a piece of paper? No one had any input. You didn't talk to anybody about it. You didn't ask average people for their opinions. You didn't get a chance to vote on anything. You just signed a piece of paper. And you wonder why people think the system is rigged. You wonder why people have no trust in the system anymore. You wonder why people don't feel heard. It's because they're not heard. Groups are heard. Activists are heard. People are not. And sadly, it's more broken than we actually think. It goes all the way back to how we develop our politicians. The instruction manuals we hand people like me to how to get elected are part of the problem. And we don't even see it. The average person doesn't see it because no one tells them. You know, your run for office starts 3 years before you run for office. Did you guys know that? That they tell you to join, community groups and interest groups and become part of the power structure so you have a base of support? Do they tell you that? That in a sense, you're like a minor league baseball player working their way up the system, except it's not based upon your competence. It's based upon how well you network, how well you raise money for the party. They don't tell you that. I do. I also don't play that game. I talk to you directly. I found out how to do this without needing a lot of money. We could probably use more than we have, but I don't need a lot. The game doesn't have to be played the way it is. In fact, politics shouldn't be a game at all. The media reports it like sports scores. Who's ahead today? What's the polls say today? How many people are dead today? It's disgusting. And we wonder why we're divided. Politicians play into it. They help them. They feed them the news story. They feed them the cycle. They continue the outrage. The only way we break this cycle is to break the cycle. We must have the courage to vote differently. So to end this on a happier note, there is hope in talking to people. I see it. Yes, there's a lack of trust, but there's a hope that something can be done, whether it's by me or people who follow me. There is hope. We will keep trying. We will keep helping. And we will keep learning. Thank you for your time. Good night. And love everybody.